All right, here we go, man. We are on. I'm Jory Ballesteros, second year apprentice out of local 469 Arizona, here with Zach.
Zach Van Kirk, second year apprentice out of local 469 as well.
And we got Narayan on. Narayan, will you introduce yourself, brother?
Yeah, I'm Narayan out of local 343 in Vallejo, California. I'm a fourth year apprentice.
Damn, all right. Well, I just want to make a toast before we start to brotherhood.
Cheers.
Oh, all right, man. And Narayan, just let everyone out there know how I met you. There was a apprentice seminar in Denver, and everyone from each, an apprentice from each local had come there, and it was a UA on a national level. And one of the things is that stood out to me is you got up at that seminar and you were talking about this feeling that you had, this just how can you take that back to your local and spread it to other apprentices. And I'm just wondering if you wouldn't mind just kind of speculating on that feeling that you had, that how your perception of it.
Oh, on how to do it, or the feeling that I had about it?
Feeling you had about it, man. Just what you felt there, bro.
Well, I mean, I feel like, my life has been as such to where an opportunity in, the pipe trades apprenticeship is like, I can really, really appreciate it. And it means a lot to me to be a part of something like that. And maybe it's just my own perception, but I feel like I see that other apprentices might be lacking in that area.
You're breaking up just a little bit, brother. Other apprentices may be lacking, and then you cut out.
Okay. Well, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's our responsibility to uplift each other in the trades and, get each other motivated and keep each other on point.
Hell yeah.
As to how to do that, I don't really know, other than talking to people and,
Well, it's tough, dude. I mean, Zach, me and him were talking about it yesterday. Zach, you still there, brother?
Yeah. And just jump on that. I think there's a lot more to being an apprentice that needs a little bit more motivation. We work long days, and we work with guys and we work for guys who make more money than us, and we know that obviously that pay raise is coming, but it's one of those things that as apprentices, I think we need a little bit more motivation from each other, within brothers. And I think the main thing in how to do that, is just like you said, Narayan, just talk to each other. If we talk to each other, every day, hey, brother, how you doing? Hey, sister, how you doing? That itself is bringing attention to the fact that, hey, this is a community of apprentices, even though we're not, masters of our trade yet, we are still going to be, members of this community for life. So, just talking to each other. Talking to guys from other locals, talking to guys from across the country, like we're doing right now, I think is the best way to motivate us and keep us all accountable that we are going to be journey workers one day. We are going to be leaders of our trade.
Right, and Narayan, that's what I was talking to Zach about. We're doing this yesterday. And I said, you know what? I know a few guys that I talked to personally. I want to see if they would come on and talk to us about this. And that's the best way, I think, to mentor these guys who may be going through a tough time through the apprenticeship. And I just ask you, what has been your toughest challenge going into through this apprenticeship? What has been your toughest challenge? Maybe some guys out there can relate.
Oh, man. I don't know. My experience is pretty personal. Like I kind of try to empower myself and in any situation and see where I can do better and what I can change in a situation. And a lot of times it's how I think and how I see things. So like the biggest challenge in my apprenticeship is just being patient, man. I mean, that's all it is. Like I came into the apprenticeship wanting to weld. And then I heard, oh, if you have your weld search, then you can get journeyman wage. And that was my goal. It's like, I wanted to weld. So I wanted to get my cert so bad so I could make that journeyman scale, you know?
Yeah, dude.
And I ended up just spinning my wheels. And, you know, that's like an extra night of class a week. And, you know, it just all adds up. But I've been doing that for, you know, most of my apprenticeship. So for 3 years now. And I've got my 2-inch schedule or heavy wall stick pipe welding certification, and I'm starting to TIG now. So, you know, I just learned to be patient and not give up and just keep doing what I'm doing, and you know, it pays off.
Dude, that's inspiring me, man, because that takes a lot of fucking discipline, especially with school. How does your school work?
So,
like, how often do you go?
So I gotta go 2 nights a week for the mandatory curriculum, and then there's an elective welding class where our hall has a certified weld inspector.
Hell yeah!
And recertify and do all that stuff. So that's the extra day that happens on Wednesday, and I've been going to that for the last, like I said, 3 years.
Right on, brother.
So yeah, more to like what's kind of like your day-to-day schedule, man? Like what, like you obviously, you know, where do you work? You know, what job site do you work at, and what do you guys do on a normal basis? And then how does that kind of play into school for you, or how does that work into your schedule throughout the day?
So classes from 6 to 9. So right now I'm working. All last year I worked out. I was traveling. I was a traveling apprentice. So for the majority of that, man, I'd wake up at like 3:30. I'd commute for an hour, get off work, and then the commute home was like at least an hour and a half, sometimes 2 or more hours. I think one time it took me 3 hours to get home.
Damn.
And then, you know, that's barely enough time to like sit down and chill for a half hour at home, maybe make some food, and then go to class for another 3 hours. And by that time it's like, you know, home at 9:30, and then you got to shower and do all that stuff, and in bed by 10 at the earliest, and then up at 3:30 again. So that was, like I said, that was all last year. And now I took a local call because that was just getting to me.
Yeah.
It was too much. And so now I'm working for a local contractor that does a lot of work in the schools for the school district, like plumbing.
Okay. Is that like maintenance?
No, it's a new construction, because I think the first year I was in the apprenticeship, I did a jurisdiction walk and, you know, asked people to vote for these bills. And it was in regards to getting the school district a grant for upgrading the infrastructure. So that was kind of cool that like I did that, and now I'm working in the schools. I see what that jurisdiction walk does, you know.
So are you a fitter or a plumber?
I'm going to take the fitter star exam.
Okay, cool.
But I'll probably just end up turning out as a welder.
Yeah. Not you saying that to be disrespectful. I know there's a lot of whatever. I was just trying to, because you said you're working on the plumbing aspect. And as apprentices, we can basically take in coal here in Arizona. I don't know how it's like out there in Cali. What do you guys, hey, so you're a fourth year. I want to know what you're touching out there, what kind of pipe you're touching out in California. What have you got your hands on so far?
Oh, as far as...
Oh, you're breaking up. I'll let you know when we can hear you, man. We can't. Zach, can you hear him at all, brother, or is it just my end? Okay, there you go.
Is that better?
That's way better. Yes, sir.
Oh, man. I'm blowing it.
What were you? Uh-oh. I think we're losing him. Ryan, you say something? See if we can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Got you back. Sorry, I'm blowing it.
You're good, bro. You're good. What kind of pipe you touching out there?
Last few weeks, I've been working on some refrigeration pipe for a winery.
Okay.
We get a lot of winery work up in Napa County. So, I just finished installing a bunch of 1 and 5/8 and 5 and 7/8 copper up to some air handlers, to some condensing units outside, and put in all the racks. Just fun time. I like brazing.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, man. That sounds pretty awesome. We do a lot of in Arizona. We do kind of our main guy is that we work for is Intel, doing microchip processing. So we do a lot of high purity stuff. A lot of our job day to day is, we're wearing latex gloves, we're wearing booties over our boots to make sure we're keeping the clean room clean. Kind of what is your job site like, man? Do you guys, it's kind of, I guess you mentioned it's a winery, so dealing with consumables that people want to keep clean. So kind of what's your job site like, man? What do you guys, is it a clean space? Are you guys kind of dirty? What's the general feel there?
Well, this job, it's pretty small, so it's not like anything too notable. Like, we just have a table in the corner for the plans, and, a cart for the parts and pieces, and a lift and a pipe rack for all the pipe. So basically, whenever I'm in a job site, I try to, make it cleaner than how I found it at the end of every day, just keep organized and professional. And I think clean room work is really cool. When I was working in local 467 in San Mateo, hold on just a second. Yeah. When I was working in 467 San Mateo, I was doing some high purity polyvinyl fluoride piping, which was a bead and crevice free finish. So it had this, it's basically a plastic pipe that had this really expensive electronic welding piece of equipment that you prep both pipe ends, and it has to be super clean, gloves all over. And I just basically welded the pipe together, and there's a little air bladder that you put inside the pipe to make the inside of the pipe completely smooth. So it was a pretty neat process. I mean, you had to start from one end of the piping system to the other end, so it was like a bit of a challenge, which was nice. But that's more, San Mateo's in like Silicon Valley, so there's a lot of that stuff down there. But Napa, Solano, we have a Genentech out here, and a Budweiser, which is, all pretty clean process, piping. And other than that, it's plumbing and refrigeration, and get to weld some gas pipe every once in a while. But
hell yeah, dude. You know what? I'm gonna kind of switch gears on you, bro. And I wanted to ask you, there's apprentices coming in on our end, and they may hear this. Some new apprentices. You got any advice to those guys coming in right now, or what would be your biggest piece of advice to someone coming in right now to survive the trade?
Just do your best to, to get work done, man. What I try to tell myself every day is that, I'd like to show up to work to build stuff and, make stuff happen and get stuff done. I don't concentrate on just getting paid. Getting paid is going to happen one way or another. I just got to show up and get done what I can, do the best of my ability.